there are so many slides. As you are looking, it is 1:22, but I cannot continue as the alarm is from their institute side. You should better concentrate. You have to concentrate, but okay, the story I am not telling regarding machine learning. The story I will, if time permits, I will at the end point tell whether I should skip it. So to start with machine learning, what are the key points of machine learning? Neither this moves nor this moves. What is it? So what is machine learning? As you know, before machine learning, I should tell you the short story regarding artificial intelligence. What is the difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning broadly? In artificial intelligence, actually, the machine learning is the subset of artificial intelligence. Okay, but in machine learning, because I am a master of machine learning, so I should tell about machine learning only. In machine learning, what we do and what is the necessity of machine learning? To start with this, you should understand that suppose as you are telling a problem when it is very complex. Problem when it is very complex, during that time it means, suppose say we know the equation y is equal to mx plus c, we know the equation y is equal to a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus an xn minus 1 and plus dot 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 an. A very and similarly a multiple power ax square axn some powers say. If these types of equations will come into picture, then MCDA and particularly some methods which may not give you the best results or approximation, or you can say that model accuracy may not be perpetual. You can put me a question, sir, we are developing models, but how does it help us in real life? Definitely I can say you, whatever the models are being developed, that models will help in real life for achieving the success. Because from equations only we are coming to the theory. Okay, so that's why one question is when we built up certain algorithm, because algorithm is what? Algorithm is the highest version of development of equation. Okay, so when we cannot able to solve it by merely putting equations, we are coming a longitudinal or a number of big Bose data to concentrate over a programming. So programming is the biggest brother of equation. Are you getting me what I am saying? So in that connection, when complexity is much more, when reliably we cannot solve by MCDA, then we should think about the machine learning. So in that connection, the important parameter is when we will think about machine learning, how the machine learning works we should know, and for machine learning what should be the data pattern, what should be the data pattern. As we are in MCDA, we have collected all the data, assimilate, and we are going in a different manner. But in machine learning, first whenever we will collect all the data in a single platform, we have to go for, there also I have utilized the word normalization, but here also I will utilize the word normalization, but their normalization and here normalization is somehow something different. How it is different? To understand that one, we should take the help of filtration of data. Data filtration what? And what is the learning, wherever it is not, you see there is in artificial neural network or in machine learning, broadly we have to think about some learning patterns. Learning is possible by certain equations. As I was asking in the first half, I was telling that there should be a development of certain equations like sigmoid, like some functions 10 basic, 10 sig, 10 logarithmic. There are several functions. For that, how these situations will come into picture, to understand that one, let me tell some stories. some storage, I mean some some slides are missing. Yes, here. So to understand, once we get the data, accumulation is somehow same, but here the data pattern classification is somehow different as compared to MCDA or something like that. MCDA, what we are doing, we are depending upon particularly with some criteria, but here no criteria is required. You can, criteria is required, but silent criteria. Their criteria was pre-pruning. Pre-pruning means it was coming into the market because you are putting certain rank or you are going for certain classification. But here criteria means you always there is a criteria. I cannot say it is a criteria. I can rather that criteria I can pruning it is in terms of certain patterns. One is a training pattern, another one is a testing pattern. Means a bunch of data we are getting. Bunch of data, say suppose a data set of better example whether I can take my journal of hydrology. Let me come to that one such that I can explain you properly. I am giving one message. What is the time? And they have told me to complete it by 4. So accordingly, I will utilize some slides, not every slide. What is the time? 2:45. Okay. Yes, this is my first paper where I have the work is looking very simple, but today also I realized the work was very big. The reason is prediction of water table depth in western region Odisha using back propagation neural network (BPNN), radial basis function neural network (RBFN). So two types of neural networks I have utilized. So what is a neural network? Let me tell. Then I will enter into this. Then I will come to machine learning later on. This was I am the first author as you are looking after. And this was my first paper in PhD. I want to say you that in machine learning, this is one part. One is, as I am telling you, this is a prediction of water table depth. What is prediction of water table depth? Prediction of water table depth means suppose past data are recorded. Last 20 years data are readily available with you. Say generally water table depth, let me explain. Water table depth is generally in a year 6 water in a year generally 6 months data recording is being done. 6 months, how it is you can say, depending upon monsoon, pre-monsoon, post-monsoon, and another one is that is called what? You state government people, you can better say that is pre-monsoon, post-monsoon, and another one is monsoon. Okay, pre-monsoon, post-monsoon, another one is monsoon. Whatever I am telling, in these three, some data say I am telling you yearly data was being considered, seasonally that is being taken. Suppose in 1 year I am getting say 20 years data. In 1 year I am getting 6 months. मतलब 6 seasonal data 6 months. 1 month 1 data. Season मतलब 3 4 seasons. So 3 into 4 12 data I am getting per annum. So if it is 20 years, what will be the data? 12 into 20. So that is how much? 240 data. So I am conglomerating or I am getting 240 data. Now my ambition is that last 20 years data is readily available with me, and that 240 data last 20 years or 10 years. I was taken 10 years because 120 data I have remembered. 120 data was being considered. Out of 122, generally how much data I have to train it for modeling? Are you understanding or something I am skipping? If you are if you think that I am skipping something, then I will return back. What I want to say you, suppose a number of data I have considered. Say that number of data is 120. Are you getting me? So out of 120, as per processing or as per networking, whatever the network it may be neural network, it may be artificial neural network, it may be machine learning, any kinds of machine learning network. Suppose I want to develop a model. So what I have to do? I have to do is basically I have to classify the data into two sets. One data will be for training set, another data will be for testing set. So for training set, what should be the number of data? Generally, it is recorded that, or it is rather prescribed that the data should be generally the data should be 70-30. That is the best for modeling. It may range from 60 to 60-40 also. But in general, 70-30 is by experiences or by research work. It is prescribed that generally 70-30 training data should be 70%, testing data should always be 30%. So 120 data I have considered. So now question comes, for predicting water table depth, as per my knowledge, for predicting water table depth, what should be the same, logic is the same, what should be our input parameters or what should be our input elements. So to predict water table depth, what I was doing during that time, to what extent I remember, that I should, the major contribution for water table depth, what, how much, at what depth the water table is available. That is called water table depth. So at what depth is available from the reference line, because it is fluctuating. During monsoon period, the water table will be little higher. During non-monsoon period, the water table will decrease. So it will go in downward direction. So there is a fluctuation in general. So for that purpose, what we are doing, now the water table depth, as it is the output, means output. So it depends upon certain inputs. So what are those inputs? The inputs are basically what I was considered. The inputs are basically the rainfall, that is called precipitation. Second one was the temperature, and that is most probably I was considered as maximum temperature, and another one is minimum temperature. So maximum temperature, minimum temperature, and I think humidity. Maximum temperature, minimum temperature, humidity, and precipitation. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You see, you are looking. So 4 data are readily there. 4 data I was considered as input. Okay. So before coming to the machine learning or any types of neural network, I should at least tell you what it indicates. As I am telling, it is a network. You are now in my network. Okay. I am the output and you all are the input. Maybe I can classify this one and that one as the input, middle one as some transmission line in between this, and I am the output. So if you want to add with me, this process can be made as I am showing here. So better just listen to me. So what I am doing exactly here, 3 types of layers. One is called input layer. Input layer means these are the inputs, and this is called output layer. This one is called output layer. Matlab one output. That is water table depth. So these 4 are the parameters, or these 4 are the inputs which will predict water table depth. It means this is input, this is output. Okay. But these 4 parameters are known to me, and this one is known to me. Now question is come, in between these what happens? That is called networking. In between these what happens, and these networkings will help to develop this one. Develop this one matlab last 20 into as you was telling 6. Sorry, last 20 into 6. No, 20 years data. I have told you unfortunately 1 year 6 data is being taken. Okay, so 20 years 20 into 6, because during the water table recorders, the people are not doing every 2 months one data. So 12 months how many data? 6 data. So that's why I am telling every 2 months is one season they have considered. Your state government. That's why I am telling, as groundwater board they have sensitized. So that's why that is the standard parameter. Not only your groundwater, throughout India that is being happened. So that's why 6 data, as I am telling, the 20 into 6, 120 data. So I want to say you, this is a maximum temperature 120, minimum temperature 120, humidity 120, precipitation also 120. So 120 each. It means this is called a data set. When I combine all the four parameters, input parameters, I can tell you these are the what? These are one data set. At a single time, this is can be made as input. Okay. Similarly, here also water table depth 120 data are readily available. Because I have already told you maximum temperature 120 cited to water table depth 120. This 120 cited to this. This 120 cited to this. This 120 cited. Means as a whole group. I have not gone for the development of model. As a whole group, the data is being prescribed like this. Are you getting? So, as I have already told you that 70% can be taken as your training model development and 30% can be taken as your testing model development. So, 70% matlab 84 data. Out of 120, 70% matlab 84 data I have considered in all 1, 2, 3, 4. All 4 classes I have considered as what? Input data or training data set. Similarly, output also 84. So what I am doing is, what in between these two, what is the function of this one? These two items is called a hidden layer. And a hidden layer means this is 1, 2, 3, this is 1, 2, 3. In hidden layer, you will got a TF. TF matlab, that is called a transpose function. Transpose function, what is the function of it? In transmission line, just like a transmitter. Suppose I want to talk with her. I cannot come like this. I straightway that communication. So this transpose function indicates the shortest central vector distance, the shortest distance which can work in between input and output. Okay, so that's why I have considered what T1, T2, T3 like this. There are so many channels. This is what you can say here and there. The difference is Akash Patal jisko bolte. Are you clear or not? Here what you have to do is, whatever you are getting, once you are developing, upon that you can go for several runs, maybe hours and hours. My PhD, to what extent I remember, though I was a faculty member during that time in ITR, my final year students were sitting with me up to 10:30, I have remembered. And computer, I was a big potato, to be very honest. Okay, to be very honest, during that time, not now, during that time, to be very honest, I was a big potato. Potato, you understand? I was not knowing anything, but I was very serious in technology. मतलब इससे ये क्या मिलेगा और इट्स इम्पैक्ट इसमें आ रहा है कि नहीं, ये नॉलेज मेरा साथ पूरा भरपूर इस समय में था, आज भी है, कल भी रहेगा. समझा कि नहीं? So that's why I am telling, during that time what happens, I have considered BTech, not, I do not believe MTech and PhD students. It means I want to give you a message, if you want to develop yourself, take the help of young incarnators. The young minds will help you, okay? So young minds will help me, matlab, but you have to give some input. Otherwise, even if to what extent I know, as she is telling, she know my son, okay? So I am really happy that he was a young little chap. Now मैं इसको salute करता हूँ अभी इसको job भी मिल गया. And now he is happy also. Anyway, but his mind is too sharp. खुद को बोलते हैं ना, खुद का लड़का को किसी का नजर मत लगाओ. But I am really happy with him because he is इनका बुर्ला student and he is good. मैं एक दिन दिखा रहे बोला कि पापा ये सब मैंने यू प्लीज हेल्प मी. मैं देख रहा हूँ मेरा पीएचडी स्कॉलर काम कर रहा है, मैं देख रहा हूँ मेरा एनआरएमएस एमटेक स्कॉलर काम कर रहा है. लेकिन एक दिन मैंने बोला तू कर दे, ये कर दिया. मैं कहा अरे तू तो, लेकिन आजकल का लड़का लोग का पढ़ने का ज्यादा फाइटिंग करने का इंटरेस्ट नहीं. जॉब मिल गया, मैं क्यों पढ़ूंगा. तो इट हैपेंड समटाइम्स. So but during our time it was a problem. Anyway, so I want to give a message T1, T2, T3 or as a whole these are transpose function TF. This transpose function will give a communication between input and output. So these hidden layers you can see. So what you have to do is you have to extract this one. Developing model is only the work you have to do here. So hidden layer depends upon what parameters or what factors. Probably that is I will tell you when I will tell you the entire scenario, because such that you can get gradually I will utilize certain terms which by the time you will be acquainted with that. One is called epoch. One parameter is called epoch. You might have heard. Okay. Another one parameter is called some characteristics parameters I call, that is learning coefficient. Another one parameter is called momentum gradient. Are you clear what I'm saying? So one is called momentum gradient, another one is called learning coefficient, okay, or that is also sometimes called descending gradient. Some terms which are a little bit different from we civil peoples, but it will bring certain interest. The only characteristics is there is certain factors that, as I am telling you, the learning coefficient. What is that eta? Okay, what is that learning coefficient? What is that momentum gradient or momentum coefficient? To learn that one, we have to you can put me a question, learning rate. Suppose if I teach somebody, what will be my first idea? Suppose I am a very class 1 teacher and I want to teach a very little child. So what I have to do? I have to simply write down A, B, C like this. In a similar manner, what you have to do is, you are a learner, you do not know anything. So what you have to do is, you have to fit some criteria and some basics, I mean theoretical backgrounds, you have to know. What are those theoretical backgrounds? Suppose I know, by practice I know. by learning rate, मेरे को कोई PhD scholar पूछेगा सर learning rate 0.01 जब मैं देता हूँ, generally learning rate you should start from learning rate मतलब momentum coefficient, learning rate, ये दोनों हमको देना पड़ेगा, whatever the neural networks it may be. I am telling you. So that factor generally it absolutely the value should be between 0.01 and 0.001. Which one is 0.001 to 0.01? Are you getting me? So 0.001 to 0.01, you can put me a question, sir, how you are getting? That is by my practice and that is by architecture rule. Okay. So to train any network, generally the momentum coefficient and learning rate, that is called learning rate, should lie within this parameter. So what I was doing there exactly, I developed this one, matlab in matrix lab or MATLAB, I have taken this input parameters in one folder I keep, output parameters in one folder I keep. Okay. Then I have to train the network. To train the network, the architectures are these: learning rate, momentum coefficient, and the number of hidden layers. These three will enroll. That's why I was asking. Now somebody was telling I am working in MATLAB. Who? Please, chala gaya kya? Acha, MATLAB. So at least, are you getting all these terms? Whatever I am telling. So they are actually. They are also. You have to think about the hustle and bustle. Means heat and try. You have to. You cannot put me a question that sir, मैं अगर learning क्या number of hidden layers अगर 10 डाल दूँ, 20 डाल दूँ, 40 डाल दूँ तो क्या होगा? I can tell you there is an optimization criteria by virtue of which the number of neurons generally lying between 0 to 10 for some techniques like a back propagation neural network. You do not know probably. Are you having some knowledge? Somebody with neural network? Otherwise, I will just tell. Otherwise, I will go for how to I input, output, middle characteristics, etc. Otherwise, my things will be just a bias. One way motion, which I do not want. Okay, anyway, what I get, as a whole for back propagation neural network, I will for architecture of BPNN, I will utilize hidden layer, I will utilize the learning rate and momentum coefficient, and I tune for the input and I will tune for the output. Here what I am telling is, because I will come to machine learning, before that I am telling you, machine learning is broadly classified into some number of parts. One is called machine learning, as the name indicates. Learning is being done by some supervisor. If it is learning is done by some supervisor, or supervisor means guide, then it is called supervised learning. If without supervisor learning is done, then that is called unsupervised learning. Okay. And in between hotspot, then or a similar mix, semi, whatever you can say, then it is called probably a semi learning or that is what I was telling, semi supervised learning. And the fourth type, which one is called reinforced, मैं जबरदस्त pressure देके करूँगा, so that is called what? Reinforcement learning. Are you clear? मतलब by pressure. So for that I have to utilize some extraordinary parameters which is beyond my scope because I have not worked there. I have not started reinforcement learning. All other three learnings I have already done in different fields, which I am also going to show you by my practice and by my work. But before that, now let me return back to the first slide, such that you can what is supervised and what is unsupervised learning, such that you can understand something. Why I was coming to this, because knowingly practically हमने क्या क्या मैं बोल नहीं तो theory चलते रहेगा तो you may or may not understand. That's why I forcefully coming to this. मैं time देख रहा हूँ, and another how much time I can get? 3 another maximum 1 hour. Okay. Because I have already 122 slides, so it may be more than 3 hours, which is not possible. Okay. Same kind of who is telling? For my work, I have kept same because that's why I am coming. Probably I have not given what is machine learning, what is artificial neural network, but in one specific work I have told it was because I was the architect. I had done like that. So that's why I was just explaining. I'll return back. I'll return back. I am coming. Your question answer you will get, no doubt. Because I am having a lot of things, whatever I have done already, and whatever I am also learning. So it will be a difficult task for you, I understand. But I will try my level best to share something such that you may be benefited. Interesting because these are our assets. People are not working at the ground. Everybody is not working. Even if you find so many IIT professors just rushing and but doing something, publishing paper, realistic work. There are so many things you can understand actually because you know better than me. People are telling too many things, but what they are doing, I do not understand. And that is everybody is not a real worker. That's why the problem comes. It is little interesting. The reason is we are making